All rise.
I want viewers watching my show to believe in themselves.
Judge Hatchett is compelling.
I was not the first one to throw a walk.
Let me just tell you what you just said.
Compassionate.
I really enjoy being a judge. Now I am touching people who I will never know I touched.
She's powerful.
You should have never let them walk out of your life when she was 3.
And she's on the bench.
Don't get me preaching up in here today.
Right.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Monica Shula is suing Ernest Payne in the amount of $675. Ms. Shula claims Mr. Payne chased her son down the street, threatening to kill him, causing him to have an accident. Mr. Payne claims he didn't chase the plaintiff's son, and he believes Ms. Shula's son was being clumsy.
Good day, Ms. Shula. You are here suing your neighbor. Is that my understanding,
Yes,
Mr.
Your
Payne?
Honor.
And you're claiming $675. And then you have a countersuit, Mr. Payne. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Your counterclaim is for $456.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're saying that was damage to your car that the plaintiff's son caused.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're saying that because of Mr. Payne's actions, that your son had to have medical treatment and had to have stitches because of an encounter that they had. So,
Yes.
Ms. Shula, tell me what happened.
About 7 months ago, I was at home cooking and cleaning, making some lunch for me and Adam, and he asked me if he could go outside to play. So he grabbed his gear, he grabbed his bike, he went outside to play. I continued to make our lunch and clean. About 30 minutes later, I hear the door burst open and Adam screaming and hollering, crying. So I ran over to him, and his chin, Your Honor, was drenching with blood. I'm like, what's wrong with, what happened, Adam? What's wrong with you? He said he was riding his bike, and Mr. Payne darted out his house, threatening to kill him.
I didn't dart out of the house.
I'm like, how do somebody kill or threaten to kill a child, an 11-year-old?
So,
I
Mr.
did
Payne, what
not-
happened? Talk to me. What happened?
I was in my living room reading my favorite book, and I heard a bunch of firecrackers go off. And at first, I thought it was live ordnance fire. I'm a vet. I've done 2 tours in Iraq, 1 tour in Afghanistan.
Thank you for your service.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you for your service to this country.
You're welcome. Thank you, for acknowledging that.
Absolutely.
So I have a big sign on the front of my yard that says, you know, I'm a vet, I have PTSD, and please try to keep down the noise. I don't remember exactly what it says because I painted it like a year ago. It's been sitting in my front yard since the 4th of July last year.
Right.
So I can't deal with like loud noises, firecrackers,
So
things
like
like that.
firecrackers.
I leave on the 4th of July usually. And this year I was unable to because of my situation. So I had to stay home for the 4th of July. Drove me nuts. Pretty much stayed in the bathroom the whole time, just trying to chill out.
So
this
sad.
is way after the 4th of July. I think this is like the 5th of January, I believe, is when this incident occurred. So I'm in my house. I'm reading this great book, and I hear fireworks. You know, and I could pretty much tell they were fireworks pretty quickly. But it's when I trigger, sometimes it'll be like a blackout scenario. I can't tell what's going on. I just kind of wake up. So anyway, I ran out of the house, and there's a bunch of kids, and they're all scattering, and there's smoke from the firecrackers going off, and this young man here was on his bicycle and trying to run away, and I chased him down, and as I'm chasing him down, and I yelled to him, yes, you're lucky I didn't blow off your head, as I was running out of the house.
Mr. Payne, why would you threaten a child? He's only 11 years old. You having this post-traumatic syndrome does not give you the ability to be a bully toward children.
I wasn't trying to be a bully, ma'am. I was just letting him know that luckily it was me,
son?
because it could have been somebody else, and if it would have been somebody else, maybe they would have blown his head off.
No, Mr. Payne, you or anybody else. He was hurt in the process of this. I had to rush him to the hospital to get stitches under his chin because of you scaring him frantically.
Stitches under his chin or the injury. He did run his face right into my truck, but if he wasn't in my front yard throwing fireworks, and then it would have been no incident.
So let me ask you this. What happened, Adam? Tell me what happened.
Well, when I went outside to ride my bike, my mom told me I couldn't leave our street, so I only went to the end of her street and turned back around towards my house. So I went back and forth for 30 minutes, and then when I was heading back, 3 kids were running back somewhere. Mr. Payne was running out of his house directly towards me, and then he just told me he was going to kill me for no reason. And I
didn't tell you I was going to kill you. I told you, luckily, I didn't blow your head off.
Mr. Payne, you told him you was going to kill him, and you also told me that you were going to kill him, so I called the police on you.
Yes,
They came 20 minutes later, Your Honor, They spoke with Mr. Payne, and they said it was not enough ground evidence to arrest him.
Were there kids shooting off fireworks in Mr. Payne's front yard?
Yes.
And so when you saw that happen, what did you do?
Nothing. I just kept going. And then when Mr. Payne came running out of his house, that's when he said he was going to kill me.
What happened after that?
Well, I was trying to get away from him, and then I lost control of my bike and then slammed my face into the front of the back of his truck.
Okay, so you have a picture of your truck?
This is from his face. I don't deny that.
Let me see that.
Well, you know, if you wouldn't have
This is
frightened
the
him
cost
so,
of my.
that
This is
could
the
have all
cost of
been
the vehicle,
avoided.
$465, and as it says down here in the bottom, I only have 15 days to pay this. I'm on Social Security. I'm a vet, so I don't really have a lot of money for paying for this bill for my truck. I just had that truck painted like 8 months ago. It was a gift from a family member. So I care about my truck a great deal. I'm sorry the young man got injured, but if he wouldn't have been in my front yard throwing firecrackers, it wouldn't have occurred in the first place.
Well, now, was he in your front yard
Ma'am,
throwing firecrackers?
I saw him.
Did you see him?
I saw him. As I exited the door, I made a direct line of sight on this young guy here, and I went right at him. And then as I went at him, he was like just finishing throwing the firecrackers, and they're pretty much throwing all the firecrackers around my sign that says, "Please don't throw firecrackers." So I guess they thought they were being funny. So when I came out the door, he immediately jumped on his bicycle and took off, and unfortunately he ran straight into my truck, and he dented my truck.
Coming up on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
I have medical insurance, however, it didn't fully cover the full price, and I would really appreciate if Mr. Payne will pay this bill.
And later,
How did things go?
The school was very boring, actually. I felt like I didn't really learn much because all we did basically was we read old etiquette books and we watched YouTube videos.
The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Monica Shula, who is suing Ernest Payne for medical expenses.
So
Maybe
you
I'll send
took
him
your
to
son,
military school.
Adam, to the emergency room.
Yes, I did, Your
And
Honor.
did you have medical insurance?
I have medical insurance, however, it didn't fully cover the full price for the medical bill.
Okay.
So I do have a remaining balance of $675, Your Honor, and I would really appreciate if Mr. Payne will pay this bill.
Your Honor, I've had stitches most of my life, got them up and down my body. I've never had to pay $600 for 5 or 6 stitches. It's usually like $50. So I'm sorry if you're trying to pay off something else, but
I'm not trying to pay off. I have a bill from the
Okay.
hospital, Mr.
Well,
Payne. Thank you.
I have a bill for the
Well, we
grass.
got
that
10
burned.
stitches for a gash under the chin. That's pretty significant.
$10 a stitch.
And lab services and a pharmacy. Now, you know, I have kids, and I've never had a situation where I paid $50 for some stitches. I just haven't. How do we resolve this?
I can see
You
it.
got $456. She's got a claim of $675. I'm
her-
not sure that Adam was an innocent bystander just happening to go down the road.
At 11 years old, the likelihood that he might be fibbing to you.
No, my son do not lie.
Your Honor, I think, if I may, I think it just basically comes down to the question is, was the young man throwing the firecrackers
And he was
ran
not,
into my
Mr.
truck? I
Payne.
mean, he ran into my truck because he was doing something that he shouldn't have been doing. He was on my, even though technically he's on the
No,
sidewalk, it's
any
on my
child being
property.
threatened to be killed
I
by a
don't, you know, there
grown
was 8 other
adult,
kids out there. I
they
didn't
will
chase down
run
the other
in
kids.
fear.
I chased down him. Why? Because he was the last one throwing the firecrackers, and I saw that.
Mr. Payne,
Yes, ma'am.
you are going to get your own truck fixed.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Shula, you are going to have to absorb the rest of this claim for $675. So, I am dismissing your claim for $675. I'm dismissing your counterclaim for $456. But I will tell you, and I've said this so many times, and I'm going to say it again,
Say it.
that neighbors need to be neighborly.
Yes, ma'am.
And whoever those other kids were, there needs to be a meeting with their parents.
Yes, ma'am.
Because they don't need to be out there shooting off firecrackers.
I agree for that.
And so I think that we have got to come to a place where we appreciate the fact that you are suffering. But also, you can't be running out your door talking about you better be glad I didn't blow your head off either.
Yes, ma'am. I agree
I
with
know
that.
you can't do that.
Yes, ma'am.
You cannot do that.
That's why I put the sign out there. But the
Well,
that
all right.
actually, I think, is attracting the problem. So So I'll probably just take the sign down and then I'll be just like a normal person.
So maybe there's just a letter that goes to all the neighbors with the kids.
That's a great idea.
You know, so I'm hoping that we can prevail upon people and their humanity to be sensitive to that.
That would be nice.
The plaintiff's claim is dismissed. The defendant's counterclaim is dismissed. That is the order of the court. I stand adjourned.
Judge Hatchett has ruled both claims have been denied.
I'm sorry I threatened your son, and I'm sorry he was injured during all this.
I accept your apology, but please get help for your medical condition.
Coming up,
She showed up in the inappropriate dress. She was wearing crop top and jeans, and it was horrible. I was shocked, and all my guests were shocked.
you're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Anastasia Flowers is suing Francine Beaumont in the amount of $1,500. Ms. Flowers claims she sent her stepdaughter to Ms. Beaumont's charm school. However, she feels the school only made her stepdaughter's behavior worse. Ms. Beaumont claims the child's behavior was excellent at her school, and she feels if the child's behavior did change, it was the plaintiff's fault.
All right, Ms. Flowers, you're suing Ms. Beaumont for $1,500.
Yes, that's correct.
You're saying that you sent your stepdaughter, is that correct?
Yes, my stepdaughter is Diana. She's here.
And that you sent her to Ms. Beaumont for charm school.
Yes, I did. I sent her for 10 days crash course that Ms. Beaumont recommended to me.
Why was it necessary to send her to a crash course at a charm school?
Well, I got married, William Flowers, that's my husband, a year ago. We've been dating for a couple years. I'm from Ukraine originally, and I also gained a wonderful gift, which is my stepdaughter, Diana. She's 15 years old, and she's a teenager. I feel like she has lack of confidence. She has no manners. She disrespectful towards elders, and I'm an event planner. I'm throwing these luxury parties in Hamptons, and I'm hosting one of my own party this summer in June, and I thought that I should sign up Diana for the school to give her some classes and make her a proper lady. And Ms. Beaumont was highly recommended by a client of mine, and Ms. Beaumont ensured me that in 10 days course, Diana would be transformed, prepared, and delight to my guests.
Fair enough. All right, Ms. Beaumont, what happened?
Hi. I got a call from Mrs. Flowers asking me to enroll her daughter into my charm school, but we only had 10 days. My courses are normally a 6-week course. And I said, I can teach her in 10 days. So,
and what were you expected to teach her in 10 days? That's what I really want to understand. What is it that Ms. Flowers expected from you that you would teach Diana in 10 days?
About social graces and just good old-fashioned manners.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So,
all right, so what happened? She enrolls in this program.
She dropped her off every day at 12 noon. The classes were from 12 to 2.
Okay.
I never saw Mrs. Flowers. She came in on the initial first day, and she gave me the check for $1,500. She dropped her off every day after that for 10 days. She never came in. She could have come in and observed. She didn't. But Diana was a very good, extremely good student. She did very well in the classes. And graduation day, all the students put on everything that they have learned over the 10-day period or the course. And Mrs. Flowers didn't even come to the graduation. So the student did quite well. And
all right, so Diana, let me hear from you. So you're in this program for 10 days. How did things go?
Well, the school was very boring, actually. I felt like I didn't really learn much because all we did basically was just we read old etiquette books and we watched YouTube videos.
Did you ever say that, express that to your stepmother?
No. I mean, I originally didn't want to go to the school at all. My stepmother is the one who wanted me to go.
Coming up.
What happened is just her attitude was horrible. She showed up in the inappropriate dress. She was wearing crop top and jeans, and it was horrible. I was shocked, and all my guests were shocked.
A Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Anastasia Flowers, who is suing Francine Beaumont for $1,500.
Did you not go to the graduation?
I did not show up for the graduation because I was busy preparing the party. It was pretty big, and I was just busy. But I met my stepdaughter after the party. She showed me her certificate of graduation. She was extremely happy and excited, and we kind of shared this moment back then. But on actual dinner, on actual party, what happened is just her attitude was horrible. She showed up in the inappropriate dress. She was wearing crop top and jeans. She was on the cocktail hours. She was eating without using a plate. She was chewing with her open mouth. She was burping without closing her, closing her mouth. And it was horrible. I was shocked, and all my guests were shocked. So I don't know what happened. I felt like I got into the fraud because Ms. Beaumont never delivered what she promised to me. She promised that she's gonna take care of my child herself. She's gonna teach her, and she's gonna turn her a proper lady, which she never did.
Is it possible, and Diana, I'm gonna look you straight in the eye on this one. Is it possible that you learned correctly from the charm school, but that the day of the party that you were acting out?
Yes. I was pretty upset that my stepmom didn't come to my graduation.
You know, the truth will just shed light on a lot of things.
Judge Hatchett's verdict when we return.
There's a deeper issue here that really has nothing to do with Miss Beaumont. It has everything to do with the relationship between the two of you. And so I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get the $1,500 back. And I'll enter that formally. You're not going to get the $1,500 back because this is more important than $1,500. What we need is your time and your attention. And I would strongly recommend that you all be in family therapy. So, judgment denied. You're not going to get the $1,500 from Miss Beaumont, but I hope that you took to heart what I said, because what I'm telling you is far more important than $1,500. You understand?
Yes.
You understand? So ordered.
Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
Sorry, Ms. Beaumont. Since now I know this case isn't about money, it's about communication between me and Diana.
I do accept your apology. Diana was a very good charm school student, and I hope that you go for the therapy the judge suggests.